spoon.
Okay.
You want a haircut?
Is there
These are
juice?
haircut scissors too.
I mean, if you look at it grossly, you see fat, muscles, okay, and the back of the eye, there's a white structure optic nerve that's going back to the brain, and this is part, okay, and this
A little bit. You have something else called the lens that's going to do the majority of that, but actually the cornea does a little bit of that to get the light back to the eye so we can interpret with our brains. Wonderful stuff. So you're going to see a little bit of an opening there, which you guys should all have. Okay, there's a nice liquid in there. What we're going to do now is cut through the sclera of the eye. And the sclera is the white part. Okay, it's going to be very tough. It's going to be very, very tough. Okay, so what we need to do there is cut. We're going to rotate the eye so it's this way. Okay, and you're basically going to cut it right in half all the way along there. And the easiest way to do that is to kind of hold it like this. So you got the front of the eye here, the back of the eye here, and you're going to cut down this way and cut right through. Do not cut your hands. Okay, you can actually go through this way and cut up if you like. Don't cut yourself. This is where things can be a little challenging. Yeah.
Like on the thing, you just completely white.
Turn it around for a second.
You got to puncture a hole and then
Remember, Amber, he said you have to cut it like all the way around. Yeah, all the way around on the side. So just like right behind.
Yeah. Okay, Johnson, let me poke this piece.
Chaucer. Is that like...
Here?
Yes!
Just dig in.
Gigi, have you touched any part of the eye yet? Mr. Campbell. So we're going around, like all the way around?
Yep.
Can we
Cut
count
through that.
this
Yep.
out?
Cut right through that. Like you're trying to, like you're holding them.
Don't cut yourself. Just gotta smile for the camera.
Oh, it's looking there, guys.
Have fun, I can't.
Oh, what is that thing? It's like glowing.
That would be the. Should I put that on my story?
Let's see.
Yeah.
It's really tough. It's very tough.
Now what Kurt's going to do is he's going to talk to us a little bit about what we found. What I want you to be able to do after that is be able to take that information and see it in your eye that you're using. Because that's the whole point. The point is you have this object in front of you and then you can see what it does and how it does it. Remember how I said before, you'll never forget what a cornea is once you touch it? Well, this is that point. Okay, go ahead, Kurt.
All right, the back of the eye is pretty easy to identify. It's nice and shiny and blue. Okay, that's the tapetum. That's that nice reflective area that lets animals see really good at night. You see it a lot in cats. When you see them on the streets, their eyes kind of reflect really good. That's because it's reflecting off this stuff. As humans, we don't have this, okay? So we don't see this very much in humans at all, but in animals they have it and they see better at night than we do. So be it. It'd be cool if we had it, but we don't. So that's that. Now on the back of the eye, depending on how your cut is, you might also see some nerve work in there. You might see an optic nerve in there as well. This section doesn't have it. It's going to be buried in here somewhere. But you might see a little bit of everything kind of going into one spot in that nerve that comes out the back. You might be able to find it on this piece. In this section, it'll be right in through here. So it's going to be somewhere else on this one. But look for the nerve coming out of the back of the eye, depending on where your cut went through, depending on where the nerve is. What we're going to get into now is the important parts of the eye, the parts that make you see. Okay, we talked a bit about the cornea. That's that area we cut through first, and we're going to explore that in a second. But in the front of the eye, you should have a lens. Now our lens right here, I don't know if you can see it clearly on the screen or not, it's right in the center. And if we get in there and pull it out, it should be covered in a nice jelly material, and it comes right out like that. Okay, now hopefully all of you have a lens somewhere in there that you can work with. Okay, what we can do is get the jelly essentially away from the lens so we can play with it. It's fragile, don't squeeze it, don't cut it, but you can get the jelly away from it and start to see the lens. And what the lens does, as I'm sure you've taken in science class before, is learning how lenses work, is it bends the light so you can interpret it, okay? Taking into account the shape of the lens, which is probably quite important, and everything associated with it. So right now, find your lens, pull it out, understand how it works and what it does. now, what it does is it focuses that light even further because the lens maybe isn't shaped perfectly to focus it right where it needs to be, so you're a little bit off. So what eyeglasses do is kind of change the way that the light hits the lens, and changes the way the lens hits the retina. Eyeglasses are pretty cool inventions. So that's your lens. Very neat stuff. Okay, going forward, one thing we need to look at, this is the front of the eye. You should still have plenty of eye front to work with. As you get inside the eye, you're going to try and find the iris. Now the iris is the part of your eye that gives it color. Cows have brown eyes. They're boring. We have some cool colors in our eyes, which is pretty cool. But in there, it's going to be very tough to pull out depending on what you have left in there because sometimes when we cut it, we break things. So we're going to try and either bend the eye inside out to try and find the iris. And you can kind of see as we bend inside out, you can kind of see it as a brown layer right around the center of the eye, okay? And what we're going to try and do is pull the iris away from the rest of the eye.
That stuff, like the jelly-like stuff, that's the imprint.
Yeah, that's what he wants us to do. Where's the harder? How hard I pinch down the page?
That's where all the nerves are running into, right? So if you flip it over and you find the optic nerve, then you flip it forward, then you'll find the blind spot.
Yeah, which is like right there, right?
So no, right
No,
there.
that.
And then so right underneath that section will be the will be where the optic nerve comes in, and then if so
Like
far.
right there.
Yeah, there you go. So when we're done everything, and when we have time to like monkey around with it, you cut into it and see what it's there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
The eye here, this was where our first cut was. You can see that line right through the middle. That was our very first cut of the day. Now this cut right through the cornea. The cornea is that clear covering on the front of the eye, okay? Again, it's very tough because we don't want to get stuff in our eye. If it wasn't strong, every time you got something in your eye, it would scratch it and you wouldn't be able to see. Like if you scratch your glasses, you can't see very well. This is tougher than your glasses. So we're going to demonstrate how tough that is by getting it onto your tray and actually stabbing with a knife. Which I know sounds kind of silly, but that's what we're going to do. So we're going to hold it down there, and what I want you to do is try and squish it with the knife blade. I don't want you jabbing it, but I want you nice sustained pressure and squishing it, and it should make a clicking sound or a cracking sound so you can hear how strong it is. Okay? So you guys go ahead and do that and try and break your corneas. Someone can do is try and squish it. You can even squish it like this, because this is clear stuff, right? You can even cut it like that and just squish it. Yeah, again, it's pretty characteristic with the bright blue color that you've all seen. Okay, that's again your tapetum, and what that does is cause extra light to get to the eyes so animals can see better at night. So that's pretty cool. The retina is right behind it. What the retina does is it collects information, collects light, and sends it to the brain. Okay, you can't necessarily see that structure because it's right beneath this. Okay, so you can't really, well, you maybe can peel it off. Well, there you go. Look at that. So we can peel it right off, I guess, and get underneath it, and you can see kind of where the retina would be. And the retina is just a collection of nerves, really. Okay, cells and nerves, and it goes to the brain. Now, if you have an eye that is cut in a good section, what you'll be able to do is see on the retina where it goes into the optic nerve. Now, we have to go to our front half to find it on this eye. And it is got to be somewhere on here. There it is right there. What you can see is how all these structures will go towards this nerve, and this nerve will take off to the brain. Okay, so on your dissection, see if you can find the tapetum, which should be easy. It peels right off, I guess, and then you can find the retina right behind it. And if you can find how they join up to find the nerve, that's pretty important. That optic nerve carries all the light, all the movement, everything you see to the brain so you can interpret it. If you see a dinosaur, you run and get confused. So that's all this information is very important to interpret, and it happens lightning fast. So this is pretty cool stuff. So find your retina.
This is the iris that was right here. This is the cornea. Very tough, tougher than glasses.